How you doing, everybody? I hope you had a wonderful Halloween. I hope you feel rested and not too tired. Um, but I want to spend the time in this video going over your final project. We are done with the book Look Both Ways, and so now it's time to figure out what did you learn. So in Google Classroom, if you could do me a favor and go ahead and open that up right now, you will see a post called Look Both Ways Final Project. And I'd like you to go ahead and open that up so we could go over this together as a class because there are different options to complete for a final project. Now, I am giving multiple days. I'm giving today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to complete the final project. Mr. Jacob and Mr. Ramirez are going to keep me informed as to how the progress is going. And what I mean by that is if it becomes clear that most of you are finishing early, then on Friday, you are going to have your vocab quiz. And if you noticed, the words from yesterday, they're not easy words, okay? These are all words that 10th graders are expected to know and be able to master and spell, okay? So if you're trying not to do a vocabulary quiz on Friday, then my recommendation is to put all of your effort into this final project, okay? Because if you need the extra time, then Friday will just be a work day. Let me also talk about the grading. Uh, this project comes with a rubric, so you will be able to look at the rubric and determine, well, if I do X, Y, and Z, I'll get a certain amount of points. If I do more than that, I'll get a certain amount of points. If I do what is required of me, I will get a certain amount of points, okay? So just so you're very clear about how the grading will go. To go along with that, as I've mentioned numerous times in these videos, is if you choose to not do an assignment, I've been giving you partial credit. Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, ladies and gentlemen, but that does not apply to this assignment. And so if you're choosing to not do this final project, you are going to earn a 0. Now, if you look in Google Classroom on the post, it says that this assignment is worth 50 points. That's like 5 regular assignments. And I was doing some math earlier, and right now, if you have anything lower than like a 72, a C minus in class, you're pretty much putting yourself in jeopardy of failing because I just don't think there's enough work in the next few weeks to get you caught up to pass. So if you want to play Russian roulette, I'm okay with that. I'm a big believer in freedom. And what I mean by that is that if you choose to do something and it works out for you, you get all the glory. If you choose to do something and it does not work out for you, you have to deal with all the consequences. I have no responsibility, okay? At all. I don't want the responsibility because I don't want to tell you what to do. You're going to have to choose. All right. But I want you to understand the conditions that if you actually choose to not do this, you take on the gamble and the risk. Okay. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're just going to have to figure that out for yourself. All right. Now, let's get to your choices. Every year, man, I hear from high school students that they just don't have the ability to choose their assignments. Well, I'm stealing your excuse now because you have multiple choices to pick how to demonstrate your knowledge or your understanding. So what I would like you to start with is please open the attachment that says Look Both Ways, Jason Reynolds Final Project. It's a PowerPoint, okay? So go ahead and open that up and let's start with the first slide. The first slide says Project Menu. These are your different options. If you notice, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different choices that you can pick from. The first, there is a one-pager. There is a movie poster. There's one that's called The Neighborhood, a sequel, a song studio, a storyboard, a postcard, a book cover, or free choice. Okay? All right. Now, let's go to the next slide. This is the rubric. If you notice, at the very top, there's 3 numbers, one that says 30, 40, and 50. So to earn 30 points, 30 out of 50 is a D minus, it's 60. You'll notice under content and accuracy, completeness, creativity, if you do what is in those boxes, you'll get a D minus. If you look under the boxes for 40, that's an 80%. That's about a B minus. If you do what is required in those boxes, you will earn an 80%. If you go over to the far left boxes where it says the number 50, again, in each of those boxes, if you do what is asked of you, you will earn full credit, 100%, A plus, 50 points. Okay, so let's scroll down and look at the different options. First one, it says a 1-pager assignment. Well, what is a 1-pager? It says the purpose of this 1-pager is to take a close look at the novel and analyze its themes. We've talked about those, the characters, and some of the quotes. It says the top half of the 1-pager should focus on symbolism and themes, words and images. The bottom half should focus on key characters from the text and how they develop. So if you scroll down to slide number 4, you will see the template for the 1-pager. Now, if you're asking how am I going to do this on this Google slide, you're not. You are going to have to create this yourself. And I would encourage you or to have Mr. Jacob or Mr. Ramirez give you a piece of printer paper, blank white paper, and then you can obviously create those 6 boxes, and then in each of those boxes, fill out the required information for each. Okay? All right, so if you notice, there's not a lot of writing for the 1-pager. If you go down to slide number 5, it's called a movie poster project. In this one, it says you are in charge of marketing for the novel turned into a movie. So please create a poster that will appeal to the audience. Relate the image to the characters, the themes, the ideas of the novel and the movie. Again, you're obviously going to have to draw, be a little creative. So if you are a person that is really good with, say, Google Slides and making a poster, sure, you could use that. If you're more inclined to actually use your artistic abilities through drawing and coloring and cutting and pasting, like making a collage, I'm okay with that too, okay? It does say, extension at the bottom, write a movie review. Yes, you must do this. So if you're using Google Slides for the movie poster, you will need to write a movie review, and you can do that in a Google Slide as well, okay? If you're using a piece of printer paper, what I would ask you is you can either write it out on a piece of line paper, or if you feel so inclined, you can type it on a Google Doc, okay? Whatever is easier for you. Next is create a map for your setting. This is going to ask you to create a poster size map of the town. Now remember, each of these stories took place on 10 different streets. Okay, so you're going to have to visually represent what these different neighborhoods look like. It says to label all the locations, including the compass, which way points north, south, east, and west. You will then need to list important events, 6 of them, that occurred at each area. And you will also need to create a theme design for your poster that matches the theme of the novel. And one of the themes, or the major theme, is how to look both ways. Remember, to see things from different perspectives. Okay. All right, moving on. Next, number 7, says create a sequel for your novel project. Now, for those of you who are really good at storytelling, this might be for you. And it says write the next chapter for your novel. So you actually get to finish what happens. So maybe you write a follow-up about what happens to Canton and the Locuts and Cynthia and Stevie and all the different characters in the story. So it says please include the characters, include the setting, include some dialogue, create a conflict for the chapter, mimic the author's writing style, language, and be true to the characters, the setting, the mood. Don't change them. Be true to who they are. Uh, and it says have a classmate peer edit your work. What I would ask is either have Mr. Jacob or Mr. Ramirez just kind of look it over, and as long as you're attempting to be as authentic to the story as possible, I'm okay with that. All right. So there's a lot of freedom in that assignment. Okay. Moving on to number 8. This is called a recording studio project. So if you are musically inclined or you love music, this might be for you. And what it's asking you is you own a recording studio. You have been asked to create a playlist for the novel. Create a playlist of 12 songs that represent the mood, the theme, and the characters of the novel. So, what are the requirements? You must have the song's title and the artist. I am okay if the song has some colorful language inside of it. I'm okay with that, all right? And how the song represents the novel. And again, it's going to be one paragraph total, okay? 12 songs, one paragraph, 7 to 9 sentences total, all right? Okay. Number 9 is called a storyboard. Now there are 6 boxes in the storyboard. What it is asking you, you will most likely need a piece of printer paper. Please break it up into 6 boxes. You can do it horizontally or vertically. That is completely up to you. But it says, please choose a scene. Okay, so there's 10 different stories. There's at least the chance of 10 different scenes. Choose a scene and expand it to 6 separate storyboards. It can be at the beginning or an extension of the end or a scene of your own choosing. And you must also create dialogue along with the images as well. So if you love graphic novels or comic books, and again, you're artistically inclined, this is for you. Number 10, the last one, or excuse me, not the last one, the second to last. This is a postcard. And so what you're being asked to do in the postcard is it says, and you will need to create this on a piece of printer paper as well. You will have your name, subject is English 2, period, it's either period 1 or period 3, and the date that you finish. The directions say, address the postcard to one of the characters from the book. Decides which character is writing the postcard. Okay. Choose a scene or 2 from the story. Write to the addressed character discussing the scene that occurred. Please don't forget to sign the postcard using your character's name. And the extended assignment on the back is to draw an image for your postcard. Because if you've ever seen a postcard, ladies and gentlemen, they do have pictures on the backside. Okay, they're not blank. So you do have to do that. And then last but not least is the book cover. Okay. What this is going to ask you again, please on a piece of printer paper, or if you are artistically inclined to do that on a Google slide, more than welcome. But it says design a new book jacket for the novel. Your cover must look different than the original. If you remember the original, there's lots of words on there. It's blue, so color needs to be different. It says, do not forget to include a summary. Yes, you will need to write about the book on the back of the book jacket. So what does that mean? If we're looking at this assignment right now, you would have your book cover. In the middle here would go your picture. On the back side of this paper, or on a piece of lined paper, or in a Google Doc, whatever's easier for you, you would write your summary about the book. And again, it says you may use a separate sheet of paper or a Google Doc if you need be, okay? And then there is one more, which says there's a free choice. Now, I'm actually kind of stealing your free choice, okay? And that free choice is a writing prompt. So for those of you that actually enjoy writing, please go ahead and open up that PDF that says writing prompts. Okay, so we can go through these. If you're choosing the writing prompt, there are three different prompts that you can choose from. Okay, so let's go through this. At the very top, it says writing allows you to think through and clearly address your ideas. To be convincing and credible, you must support your ideas with evidence or examples. And the writing process can take time, which is why I'm giving you so many days to do this. You must plan, organize, write, revise, and edit your work. For any of these prompts, you must tie your ideas into the text and provide support from the book. Okay. So, first option is called an informative essay. And that's really what you're trying to do, is just to inform the reader. And it says the title of this novel is Look Both Ways. Why do you think this book is called Look Both Ways? How does the title tie into the themes, the characters, and the events in the book? Use details and examples from the text to support your ideas. Compare and contrast any two stories in this book. Explain how the stories are similar and different. Be sure to tie in connections around the theme and the characters. Go beyond just basic comparing surface things like the setting. Well, this story took place on this street and this story took place on this street, or this character was bigger than this character. That's horrible. Do better. You need to use specific details and examples from the story. Yes, you cannot make this crap up in your head. You have to pull the examples from the story. I'm sorry, I'm going to call you fake news if you pull general ideas out of your head. It has to come from the story. If you hear the tone in my voice, I'm not playing with this. Second, you have your persuasive essay. It says choose your favorite character. Write a persuasive essay convincing the reader that the character you chose was the best character, or the most funny, the best thinker, the most loyal, etc. You need to use strong reasons and details from the book to support your answer. Again, your evidence must come from the book, not from your own opinions. And it says persuade someone to read this book. Organize your points to present your strongest point last. Use specific details and examples from the text to support your strongest opinions. Okay? So if we're looking at this in the informative essay, you have two options. Okay? You can compare and contrast, or why do you think the book is called Look Both Ways? In the persuasive essay, it says choose your favorite character, or you can try to persuade someone to read this book. And then last but not least, for those of you that are really good storytellers and have an amazing imagination, you have a narrative or creative essay. And here's your options. First, create a deleted scene. Add an event, a conversation, or an action to the book. It can take place at any point in the book. It's unlike the other assignment where you're writing a scene after the story about Canton and his mom. Okay? This addition could come at the end or the beginning of any story in this book. Okay? You should clearly convey when it would happen. You need to use dialogue and strong description, which are adjectives, when writing this addition to the story. And then lastly, you can write a personal reflection on your own friendships and how this book makes you think about them. Cite specific and powerful examples from the text and draw connections to your own life. Clearly describe some way that you relate to this book or a change that took place in either your thinking or your actions as a result of reading it. And if you notice, the next, if you scroll down a little farther, there is the writing rubric. So you'll have below basic, which again, you will probably get your 30 points. Basic would be 35 points, that's a C. Proficient would be 40 points, that's a B. Advanced, for all of you amazing writers, would be 50 points, which is 100. So to earn each of those points, you need to look at what is required. Again, if you're looking at below basic, if that's what you're striving for, then that's what you'll get. If you're striving for advanced, you have to meet all of the requirements in each of those boxes to earn your 50 points. Okay? All right. So now that I've gone over this, The thing you have to focus on is time management. Again, right now, I'm only giving Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If, like I said, if Mr. Jacob and Mr. Ramirez send me a text message letting me know that students need more time because they are legitimately needing more time, not because you're just choosing to slack off and do nothing and play video games and waste my time, then you're not going to have a vocab quiz on Friday. But if you're just sitting there wasting time and choosing to do nothing, I'm going to hit you with a really hard vocab quiz on Friday. So you get to choose. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good luck.